It's estimated about 6 million feral pigs are roaming America, causing an estimated $1.5 billion in damages.
The Texas government had tried everything to control the ever-growing feral hog population, from helicopter hunts to large-scale trapping, to poison programs and high-tech tracking systems. But even after billions spent, nothing had truly worked out. No matter how many hogs were removed, they always kept coming back. Then, during what was supposed to be a routine eradication survey, a team recorded something unusual on infrared cameras, something that left everyone scratching their heads. In certain areas, entire groups began to disappear, quietly, almost without a trace. And the force behind it all? A predator so clever, so organized that no one had expected it. So what kind of animal is finally solving a crisis that humans have been struggling with for decades? Let's dive in and find out. The scale of the problem. The hog problem in Texas isn't something new. It actually goes all the way back to the 1500s, when Spanish explorers first brought domestic pigs to North America. At the time, they were used as a food source, but over the years, many of these pigs escaped or were left behind, and they slowly adapted to life in the wild. What started as a practical solution began to turn into a growing problem. Then, in the early 1900s, things took a more serious turn. Eurasian wild boar were introduced. Some of them escaped captivity and began breeding with the feral pigs already out there. The result was something different, something tougher, stronger, more aggressive, and far more destructive. Today, Texas is home to around 2.6 million feral hogs, more than any other state in the country. From the dense forests of East Texas to the wide, open farmland of the Panhandle, these animals are everywhere, and wherever they go, they leave damage behind. In places like Williamson County, Bastrop County, and Harris County, entire properties are regularly overrun. They rip up crops, break fences, and even damage irrigation systems and underground cables with surprising force. And the speed of it all is what makes it worse. Sometimes, just one night is enough. Farmers go to sleep with healthy fields and wake up to find acres of corn or hay completely destroyed. But it doesn't stop at farmland. In suburban areas like Irving and Arlington, golf courses have been torn up, parks damaged, and lawns turned into muddy messes. And then there's the financial cost. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, feral hogs cause over $500 million in damage every year in Texas alone. Across the country, that number climbs to nearly $2.5 billion. The failed efforts. When the government realized just how serious the problem had become, it began to act. At first, they believed hunting could solve it. In Texas alone, more than 700,000 feral hogs were removed every year. Helicopter hunts were introduced, allowing teams to take down entire groups in a single run. But it wasn't enough, because even after those numbers, the population kept growing. So the government tried something else. They turned to large steel traps. Massive corral traps were placed across farmland, designed to capture entire groups of hogs at once. In some cases, 10 to 20 hogs could be caught in a single trap. For a while, it seemed like progress. But it didn't last. Hogs began to adapt. Some escaped, others learned to avoid the traps completely. And over time, the problem continued to grow. Next, poison was tested. Toxic bait, like sodium nitrite, showed deadly results in controlled environments, with kill rates reaching over 90%. But there was a problem. It didn't just target hogs. Other animals could be affected too. So large-scale use was delayed, restricted, and never fully deployed. Then, in 2014, something unexpected happened. The hog population suddenly began to decline at a surprising rate, and no one really understood why. The surprise predator. In 2014, something unusual started to happen. Researchers and landowners began finding hog nesting sites that should have been filled with piglets completely empty. Not only that, the ground itself was torn apart, dug out, scattered, disturbed in a way that didn't match normal hog behavior. No traps had been triggered, no human tracks, no signs of a typical predator. That's when people started asking a question no one had asked before. What could take out entire litters without being seen? So, a team of wildlife researchers working across the Texas Hill Country, including areas like Blanco County, set up infrared trail cameras near active nesting sites. And what they found shocked everyone. It was coyotes, but not the way they were hunting these hogs was quite expected. Now, if you know anything about coyotes, they usually hunt alone, or sometimes in loose pairs. But here, this was different. They weren't hunting alone. They were working in groups. During an attack, one coyote would approach low and silent, staying downwind so the mother hog couldn't detect its scent. At the same time, others would spread out, taking positions on either side of the nest, waiting, watching, and timing their move. And then, the moment the sows stepped away, even for a few seconds, they struck. One distracted, one guarded the perimeter, and another went straight for the piglets. A single precise bite to the neck. No struggle, no noise. Within seconds, the piglet was gone. The betrayal. While all of this was happening, the government was doing the exact opposite. For years, coyotes were treated as the enemy, a nuisance, a threat to livestock. Ranchers blamed them for losses, and control programs were pushed harder than ever. Between 2017 and 2020, several states introduced bounty programs paying up to $75 for every coyote killed. Thousands were removed each year. In parts of West Texas, local populations dropped by nearly 50 to 60%. At the time, it seemed like the right move. Fewer predators, safer ranches. But that's not what happened. As coyote numbers went down, feral hog activity didn't slow. It surged. Fields that had been manageable suddenly became overrun. Farmers reported entire sections of crops destroyed overnight. In some areas, hog populations nearly tripled within just a few years. The same pattern showed up in parts of central Texas. Less coyotes, more hogs, more damage, more loss. And it wasn't just farmland. Landowners started seeing more rooting, more fence damage, and more reports of hogs moving closer to roads and homes. The return of coyotes. When wildlife officials recognized the pattern, everything changed. For years, the focus had been on removing hogs from the outside, trapping them, shooting them, chasing them across counties. But the data was pointing somewhere else. In areas where coyotes were still active, hog populations weren't growing at the same rate. And when these methods were combined with stable coyote populations, the results were undeniable. In one Texas county, crop losses dropped from nearly 600 acres of destroyed corn each year to almost zero. Because while helicopters could cost up to $20,000 per operation and still fail to control long-term growth, coyotes were doing something no human method could. They were targeting the next generation. The lesson was clear. For decades, humans worked against nature, and every time, it backfired. Sometimes the best solution isn't something we create. It's something nature already knows how to do. Were coyotes really the problem all along? Or were they the only thing quietly keeping something worse under control? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you liked this video, ensure you give it a thumbs up. Also, consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, because we will be uploading more crazy stories like this one in the coming weeks. Until then, see ya.